Hello guys, by the time you may be looking at this video, I might be away on holiday, getting a tan and showing off my summer board. I mean, yeah, right. But I'm not going to be here on YouTube looking at your comments and seeing you like the video, etc. But what I want you to do, I want you to like the video, subscribe, and surprise me. I want to see a huge growth in the channel when I get back. Do not let me down, guys. You guys are going to be in charge of the growth of the channel. If you can, please share the channel, share it to a friend, share it to whoever, share it to football fans. That way we'll get the channel to be bigger and bigger, and potentially we could achieve our goal of 1,000 subscribers very, very soon. Who knows? But enjoy the rest of the video. Let's get into the video. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a celebration of the Championship 2019-2020 season by recognising the efforts of 11 outstanding Championship players, giving you my Championship team of the season this year. Of course, there's so many Championship footballers who deserve to be in the Championship team of the season. This is only my opinion. What I'm more interested in, who makes your Championship team of the season and who's been the best Championship player you've laid your eyes on this season, and who's been the best player in your club this season. I'm really interested to know. I'll also include my manager of the season as well. Before we get started, I'm going to give 10 honourable mentions to people who've had such great seasons but deserve recognition, unfortunately not in my list. Rafael Cabral, really reliable in Reading's goal, has been a big reason why Reading have reached in pretty respectable position this year. Bridesai Samuel, a very underrated winger, really important for Queen's Park Rangers' system. Harry Cornick, very vital for Luton and has been a big influence to Luton's survival this season. Cordy Woodrow, without these goals, Barnsley would not have survived in the Championship season. Luke Ayling, one of the more prominent right backs and has been a very important player for Leeds United's promotion. Wayne Rooney, his influence coming in has helped Derby being elevated up the table. Pablo Hernandez, it's Pablo Hernandez. I'm really gutted to not include him on the list, but unfortunately I could not fit him with the players I've got. Samba Sow, without him, Nottingham Forest are a lot more vulnerable. With him in the team, Nottingham Forest are so tough to beat. Ovie Ejaria, one of the more creative dribblers and midfielders in the whole Championship, unfortunately couldn't fit in him. And Lee Tomlin for being such a soldier for Cardiff, such a great dictator of play. So these are my honourable mentions. Without any further ado, now let's move on to my actual Championship team of the season. So I've picked a 4-3-3 formation, and we'll start with the goalkeeper. There were quite a few goalkeepers that stuck to my mind. For me, I have to give it to Marek Rodak. For me, Marek Rodak has almost had to stay his claim to stay in this Fulham side. Of course, Scott Parker started with Betteleni in goal. Fulham were not as tight defensively. Since he's come in, Fulham have not dramatically improved defensively, but they've definitely looked a lot better with him coming in. And what's really good about Marek Rodak, which I think not people realise, when he's had a bad game, like I think back to his bad game against Barnsley where he made 2 errors leading to goal. His next game against Derby, he pulled a man of the match winning performance, and that is a strong mentality to have. And the fact he can turn that around, you've got to recognise that effort. He's got 15 clean sheets out of his 34 appearances, which is pretty good for a goalkeeper. 2 man of the match performances, with one of them being that game against Derby, but the other one being against Stoke as well. For me, he's safe hands in Fulham's goal and more than deserves to be my Championship team of the season. So now let's go to the back four. We'll start off with left back. There were a lot of really good fullbacks, but for me, I don't think anyone can deny that Joe Bryan is an unbelievable talent in that left back position. He has had 6 man of the match performances, 6 man of the match performances for a left back, which is not very common at all. You don't get many man of the match performances with a fullback in general. 5 in the Championship, the other one being an FA Cup game against Aston Villa where he was absolutely terrific in that game. 7 assists in the Championship as well, and 1 goal, 8 goal contributions. What I really like about Joe Bryan, he's really reliable defensively and offensively. He can offer you an attacking play. His crossing is very good. His tackling is very good. He has got all the tools to be such a reliable fullback. For me, he deserves nothing more than to be in my Championship team of the season. Now let's go to right back, and for me, I can't add anyone else but Matty Cash. He's only had 1 assist since the restart, so he's not been in great form since the restart, but you've got to look at before that. He, I think, has been the best fullback in the league before the restart. Let's just read you some of the stats. He's had 3 goals and 5 assists. He's had 4 man of the match performances as well. He's had a terrific season. What I really like about Matty Cash, he's a great baller. He can loop some fantastic balls, he can range a 50-yard pass no problem, and can get an assist from all the way back next to the goalkeeper. You know, Matty Cash is so confident on the ball, and there's been a huge reason to why Nottingham Forest have been so good this season. Unfortunately, they could have used his form near the end of a restart. That would probably have solidified Nottingham Forest's place in the playoff, but with performances alone, I've got to put Matty Cash in my team of the season. So now let's go to the centre-back positions. The first centre-back I've got to include is Ben White. Now, if you look at his overall goal contribution stats, they're not great. 1 goal and 2 assists in 46 appearances. I mean, you might look at this and say, what's so special about that about the centre-back? But you've got to look at his clean sheet record. He's played all 46 championship games for Leeds. He has achieved 22 clean sheets. I'm not kidding you, 22 clean sheets. I mean, that's extraordinary. To get over 20 clean sheets in general, even for a Premier League centre-back, is so rare. But the fact he has 22 when he started the game for Leeds United is absolutely terrific. He's so good on the ball. He can play out from the back. He's good at tackling, good at blocking interceptions as well. He is such a good, reliable and versatile centre-back. I think with this team you need a ball-playing centre-back, and I think that's exactly what Ben White is. Whether he stays with Leeds next season is a big question mark, but Leeds cannot deny he has been a huge contribution to why they've gone up to the Premier League. The other centre-back has to be Ethan Pinnock. Now, he's been a little bit quiet before the restart, only having 3 assists in his last 25 appearances, but his form since the restart has been incredible. Of course, with Brentford, you talk about Pereira, I mean, the BMW in general, Jensen, Rico Henry, but no one really talks about how important Ethan Pinnock is. He's a transfer from Barnsley, and I think Brentford have made him to be a very good centre-back. He has really made Brentford a lot more solid. A big comment about Brentford last year is that they've kept conceding goals. I think back to their game against West Brom since the restart, where they won by 1-0, which was a key game at the time. Ethan Pinnock won every aerial duel. He's managed to get every header, and no one looked like that they were going to get past him. And I think when you have 2 centre-backs, you need 1 good ball-playing one, and you need 1 for aerial duels. And for me, I think this team needs it. So for aerial duels, for his physical side, I have to put Ethan Pinnock on this list. So the back 5 of my championship team this season so far, you've got Marek Rodak, and then you've got a back 4 of Joe Bryan, Ethan Pinnock, Ben White and Matty Cash. Blimey, that is a really good back line. But now we've got to the central midfielder positions now. Blimey, I had to make some heartbreaking decisions to leave some players out. Let's start with the defensive midfielder position at the moment. I cannot include anyone else but Calvin Phillips. I was thinking Samba So in that sort of position, but I think Calvin Phillips, for how important he is in Leeds United, he needs to be in this list. He is the spine of Leeds United, and his influence does remind me of when N'Golo Kante joined Chelsea in his first title-winning season under Antonio Conte. Breaking up the play, can loop in a fantastic pass, and can score an occasional goal. And that is exactly what Calvin Phillips does. They call him the Yorkshire Polo, which always gets me. I've been a youth player for Leeds. I think Leeds have got a fantastic player on their hands. 4 man of the matches, 2 assists and 2 goals for central defensive midfielder is absolutely brilliant. He deserves nothing more to be in this championship team of the season. Now, the next central midfielder for me is Eberechi Eze. His stats are just ridiculous. 14 goals, 8 assists, 10 man of the matches. I mean, no sort of records you would classify having a good season if you were a striker or a winger, but he's a central midfielder. He's got insane stats, and what's really good about Eze is his confidence on the ball, his dribbling, and I was thinking either between him or Ajaria for that position, but I judged him more or less who I was impressed more with the restart, showing consistency in different conditions of a season. And for me, Eze's had a much stronger restart than Ajaria has, so that is the only reason why I've edged Eze over Ajaria. With his final goal as well of the season was an absolutely memorable one against West Brom. The fact you've got that sort of quality in a midfielder where strikers can only aspire to have that quality on the ball is absolutely terrific. He'll definitely get a bigger club in the future. I think Queen's Park Rangers have done him well. I think this is his breakout season. He's a young player. I can definitely see him in the Premier League, but we'll see how long he stays with Queen's Park Rangers in the midst of a load of interest for him. So the final central midfielder position, I really struggled with this one. There were so many players I did want to include, but in the end I edged Daniel Johnson. Now, with Daniel Johnson, people may not agree with me, but you've got to look at his role in Preston. Without Daniel Johnson's creativity, Preston would have nowhere near been up there. They probably would have been in the lower half of the table without him. As soon as he played his first game, he was off the hook, getting 2 assists of his first game in the Championship season and played a big part to Preston's win against Wigan. He got the first Championship Player of the Month as well, and since then, with that confidence, he elevated Preston. Unfortunately, Preston had fallen down a little bit, and I think if Johnson was injury free and was not as injured as he was, I think Preston would have finished higher up the table. 12 goals, 7 assists, 5 man of the matches, having me one of the more consistent midfielder players that I've ever seen. You know, despite injuries, as I say, he gives his performance 100%. I've not seen Daniel Johnson give a bad performance. With that creativity and consistency, Daniel Johnson deserves nothing less to be my Championship team of the season. So, we've got a really spicy team going up, but now we've got the front three, and boy, the options I had there were endless, almost scary. But I think I chose the best front three in the Championship. Left winger, do I need an introduction? Side Benrahma. For me, my best player since the restart. He has been a little bit quiet, especially in the lead up to the playoffs, but you have to give him credit. He's had a terrific season. He was very quiet in the first 9 games, but as soon as he got 2 assists against Millwall, where Brentford made an impressive 3-2 comeback, Benrahma's been an incredible player. He scored a screamer against Swansea in the following game, which was absolutely incredible. Since then, he's had 17 goals, 2 hat-tricks, 10 man for matches and 8 assists, which is absolutely incredible for a winger. To have 17 goals is incredible. A striker would aspire to get more than 15, but Benrahma's got 17, which is absolutely terrific. He does remind me a lot of Riyad Mahrez, and it's funny that they're both Algerian as well. His confidence on the ball, dribbling, the fact he can take players on, he's got a fearless attitude, and I think his relationship with Thomas Frank does radiate on how he plays on the pitch as well. Benrahma definitely needs to play in the Premier League. Whether they'll be with Brentford, we'll have to wait and see, because obviously, in the time of recording, I don't know who's won the playoff final. I won't be in England in the playoff final. But regardless, Benrahma's had an incredible season, more or less deserves this left wing position. Now right midfielder. Now this is where I would have put Pablo Hernandez, but we've not had a West Brom player in this list yet, and I think we need one. Pereira definitely needs to be in there. Take a bow. When you have 16 assists, 16, I'm not even kidding you, 16 assists, 2 hat-tricks of assists as well, 8 goals. Yes, his goal scoring could be better, but for anyone to have more than 15 assists is incredible. And Pereira, I think he'll be an absolute star in the Premier League. I hope he does well with West Brom. 7 man for matches, 3 man of the matches since the restart. He's kept his performances way up, and his performances alone have almost put West Brom up to the Premier League. To have that influence on the team, I think he deserves to be in this team. So Pereira is going to be the right midfielder. So now we have one more striker left, and do I need to tell you who it is? I was thinking Ollie Watkins, but in the end, Alexander Mitrovic, 27 goals. I mean, that's it. 27 goals in the season is absolutely incredible. He was very unlucky not to get to 30. He was 2 goals off Teemu Pukki's total last year. 3 man for matches, 2 assists. He scored in 5 consecutive games. The longest drought of having no goals has actually been 5 games as well. He's one of the more consistent strikers I've ever seen. Very tenacious. He's very, very rough to try and get the ball off. He's an absolute nightmare to play against, and his goals have taken Fulham into a fantastic position. For me, to get goals in this Championship team for season, you need Mitrovic, so that is why he's in this team. So there you have it, guys. On the screen right now is my Championship team of the season. We've got Marek Rodek, the clean sheet master in goal. You've got left back and Joe Bryan, consistent defensively and offensively. Then you've got right back Matty Cash, fantastic baller, can loop a 50-yard pass with his eyes closed probably. Ben White, great on the ball. Ethan Pinnock, great in the air. Calvin Phillips, the spine of this team. Eberechi Eze, the creative spark in this team. Daniel Johnson, creative as well but consistent. Left wing side Benrahma, the magician of his team. Pereira, the assisting master. And Alexander Mitrovic, the goal machine. I don't think you can get a better Championship team for season than that. But if I've missed anyone out, let me know who in the comments down below. And let me know of what your team for season would be. Now my manager for season, there's so many nominees, isn't there? For different reasons, you can nominate someone like Gerard Struber for getting Barnsley to survive. Nathan Jones for the turnaround, following that he was quite unpopular as Stoke, but really saved Luton. You can look at Slaven Bilic for getting West Brom promoted. You can look at Tom comes front, getting Brentford to their highest position finish in history, and who knows, by now they may be promoted to the Premier League. But for me, it has to be Marcelo Bielsa. Following how heartbroken he might have been following his playoff defeat last year, he's took his team by the balls, and especially at January, Leeds have not looked back. They've been so consistent, and especially since the restart as well. After their defeat against Cardiff, they knew they couldn't drop a single point. 6 wins in a row, you know, 93 points as well, with a 10-point gap from West Brom. Absolutely incredible. For me, my manager of the season has to go to Marcelo Bielsa. But that wraps it up for today's video. If you guys like what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps as well. And please give this video a share it to your friends, share it to football fans. All of that would really make my day. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you see any of this video. And as always, take care, guys.